This tree is had some interesting things happen to it, and I want to talk about it today. This one that's coming across the screen almost vertical, and that's my house in the background, so you can see that it is tilted. This is a normal tree, almost straight, but this tree, well, it used to be straight, but something cracked a few months ago, and there's the joint that's no longer straight. I don't know what had happened. It was already kind of curly, gnarly like this. So something weird was going on with the tree, and then it just fell over. I don't remember a windstorm that day or anything. I don't remember hearing it though, so maybe it was windy, but it just fell down. And I'm going to show you the problem with it, why I'm going to cut it down. Over here is the pathway from our house to our goat shed. And so we've kind of got a pathway, but there's still like branches in the way. And so I'm going to cut it down for that. We're going to feed some branches to the goats and use the wood for firewood. Now that might get a few of you mad because this is pine. And a lot of people say pine doesn't make great firewood. I'm going to talk about that. Anyway, most of the trees in my woods are pine. Most of the trees I need to cut down are pine. So if I don't burn pine, then I just don't have enough wood around and have to cut a lot of trees that are further from the house, past the goat shed, just to cut them down, not because I need them down out of my way. Cut a lot of trees up for my driveway, and this one's blocking our pathway. So anyway, I feel like I have to do pine, and I also feel like if you let it dry for 6 months plus, it's not really a big creosote issue. Maybe one of these days we'll get a chimney video of the creosote, and then you can tell me if I'm right about that, or I might tell you if I'm right about it. But for now, I haven't checked it in a while, but it hasn't seemed like a problem. So we're going to cut this up. I'm going to cut from the small branches first and carry some over to the goats. I can't video while cutting. Don't have a helper today. Don't have a stand around that I know where is. A camera stand. So it's just cutting and then showing you what I cut. I made one cut and my chainsaw ran out of fuel, which I've been using it all day and a couple days ago to make a video. So yeah, it makes sense that it ran out of fuel, but I wasn't expecting that. Alright, come watch as I throw this one branch to the goats. Hey goats, they look pretty excited. Alright, we're going to do it over here, the other side of the shed. Alright. They're pretty excited about that. Even though there's a lot of fresh green stuff here in the pasture now the last few days. And we're still giving them hay, which I usually stop feeding hay as soon as spring starts, but their pasture's a little bit too small here. It's about 40 feet wide and maybe 100 feet long. Hard to know exactly, I haven't measured it out. But they're enjoying the hay, or the pine needles, and I gotta go fuel up my chainsaw. Okay, here is my mixed fuel, and there is my chainsaw. So this is the gas one. It's supposed to be a fuel oil mix. I'm not very confident I got my mix right, but I'm gonna use it anyway, and if it stops my chainsaw from working right, I'll take the fuel out. And see, I don't remember if I added fuel before yesterday. Not the fuel, but the oil to this gas. I know I bought 2 gallons of gas, and I forget if I added the oil before. So I added like half a thing yesterday, so it'll have some oil, or maybe a little bit too much. But anyway, maybe later in the video we'll see if the chainsaw works fairly good. We're gonna say it's a satisfactory mix. If not, I'll be pulling the fuel out of it as soon as I notice a problem. I've never had this happen to me before, but hey. Anyway, that's me fueling my gas. I don't know if that made any sense. It probably doesn't, but hey. I'm not a great YouTuber, that's why I have to cut my own wood, I guess. I don't know. But the other thing I add at the same time is the chainsaw fluid is this bar and chain oil that keeps it nice and lubricated. And usually you have to use about the same amount, and I don't think I can open that while videoing, so I'm going to pause. I think I could have done that on video, but I just used a stick eventually, and that's what turned it. So I'm going to add some oil. It is pretty empty in there. I don't think I can do that without spilling while videoing, so you just pour it in, take off the lid, and go from there. Alright, I got the oil pretty full in there, so I'm going to close this up. Now, I don't know if I can do that on video, but hey, then I'm going to start it back up. So this chainsaw has never had ethanol in it. I only use ethanol-free fuel, and I believe that I've never put any in, and I bought it new in 2020, so almost 6 years ago now. And I think that results in better engine behavior. So there's on and off switch. That's off. I'm going to flip it to on. Because I've used this earlier today, it's already warm, so I may not have to do this, but if it was cold, I'd have to pull that out. I'm not going to have to do that. And then I just pick up the chainsaw. I don't know if I can start it here. If it's leaning on a stick, the chain is out of the air, and that way I can start it on the ground. Well, I don't know if I can start a chainsaw well. Feel me? Alright, usually it's a lot easier with... Alright, I think I have to use my right hand. Alright, let's try this. Okay, I don't know how to start a chainsaw one-handed. So, follow me for more great advice on how to use your chainsaw wrong. But I'm not going to be able to show you in this video. After 10 two-handed tries, I've decided to leave this thing open. Let's see what happens now. Well, I know people can do this one-handed. Okay, then I do want it shut. I'm going to use my... Okay, well, if you want to see me do dumb things with a chainsaw, guess that's what this part of the video is about. Okay, 2 feet, one hand.